Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This is awesome! Hello and welcome to Cheap Shot Entertainment. This is the first wrestling show we've done for quite some time, and even this is a good week after the show's taken place. This is because work has been very, very busy, along with me filming my local football team and their matches and putting their highlights together. Also applied for a new job, so I've been sorting that out as well. Fingers crossed for me, may have a bit more time to do these videos for you. Anyway, we're going to look at NXT 31, and it's the second wrestling show where I'm going to use my cheap shots out of 5 ranking system. So NXT is usually pretty damn good, and this was absolutely no different in terms of the quality of the wrestling that we saw on this night, as well as some really cool reveals and returns, and also all sorts of other things that go off. Anyway, it was on the 4th of the 10th 2020 from the Capitol Wrestling Center in Florida. I think it was in Florida. It might not be in Florida. I didn't take that down. Anyway, new venue, new look for NXT, as the ring is surrounded by cages in certain parts and plexiglass and cages in other parts. I'm guessing that that's just an aesthetic thing, as well as being a safety thing as well. But it also reminds me a lot of the 1980s and the crush cages that were in football grounds. Obviously there's not that many people banging on the plexiglass and stuff, but it does add a lot of atmosphere whilst still being safe enough to do so. We get the Thunderdome as well in the NXT arena here. So the Thunderdome, if you've not seen it yet, where have you been? It's a safe way of getting fans back into the arenas without actually being in the arenas. Now, I'm torn between what AEW are doing. I mean, the fans are far enough away from the ring, but still they're bringing fans in, and this thing is not anywhere near being over, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. I feel like WWE's way of doing things is much better, even though I'm aching for the fans to be back. It's just one of those things. I'm torn between the two. But I do like the new look. And the Thunderdome video walls. So, move straight on to the first match, which is the North American Championship. Former champion Johnny Gargano going against the current champion Damian Priest, who won the championship in a fatal 5-way ladder match to pick up that title over Johnny Gargano, who had one side of the title. Damian Priest had the other side of the title, so obviously these two guys were going to come together. Johnny Gargano using all of his experience and his cunning in his new character here, but Damian Priest would overcome that with his power against the strategy side of Johnny Gargano, trying to take the big man down, chopping him down to size, and then trying to get victory and pick up the title. He did not do that, however. Damian Priest would hit the reckoning with the use of the ropes, and Damian Priest would be the champion. He is still the champion. He retains the title belt, the North American title. North American title. A bit tired as well. Been at work since stupid o'clock this morning. So yeah, an absolute epic of a match here. Really, really good. Both guys just kicking the snot out of each other, and Damian Priest looking very strong as the new champion, being the new kid on the block almost. He is really holding his own. And I quite like his sort of Big Daddy Cool persona. He's sort of like a cross between Big Daddy Cool Diesel and Razor Ramon, and I like it. I like it a lot. I really do. But what an absolute battle. And it used all the elements available to them, the cages, the plexiglass, the the announce tables, the side of the ring, the ramp, and everything that they could possibly get their hands on. I really like it when referees allow the wrestlers to push the boundaries to the outside of the ring. But what an incredible match to kick off with. I'm going to give this 4 cheap shots out of 5. It was a damn near perfect match to get us kicked off with. Damian Priest is still your champion. Velveteen Dream versus Kushida. This one's come out a bit out of nowhere. Velveteen Dream keeps attacking Kushida in all of his matches recently. Kushida has got a new attitude, sort of sitting on the fence between heel and face. But I love his new attitude. You know, it's still fun. He's still, you know, got the Back to the Future thing going off. But his new attitude means he's more aggressive, and I love that. I absolutely love that. And Kushida would use that aggression against the Velveteen Dream, who came dressed up as Doc from Back to the Future in only a way that Velveteen Dream could do. I think he's still being punished for the stuff that he has gotten up to, shall we say, or the stuff that he's been accused of. And Kushida picks up the win. Now, Velveteen Dream, a couple of months ago, he was going against Adam Cole for the title belt for the NXT Championship, and he was hot. He was riding on a wave of momentum. His outside of the ring antics have basically pushed him right down the card. Kushida getting a big push. I like that as well. Wanting to keep Kushida happy in where he is in the company. And that is great. And NXT is where it's at again at this very moment. And Kushida picks up the victory with the key lock on Velveteen Dream, who has to tap at the end. Even going as far as to attack the Dream after the match. So where does this lead us? Kushida, has he fully turned? Are the fans now going to be back on Velveteen Dream's side? Dream never really sort of fully went face. He was just really well liked as a persona. I think that's very much died at this point in time, but again, really good match, and I think probably the sleeper hit of the night for me. And when I think that we have witnessed the turning of the screw in Kushida, I know that new attitude is going to take him very, very far. WWE, Triple H, very much on with the heels at the moment. They're producing some really good wrestlers. They're carrying that title with zero remorse, or any title with zero remorse for anything. Problem is with Kushida, where does he go? What title does he go for? Does he go for the Cruiserweight Championship, for example? Obviously with Damian Priest holding the North American Championship, probably going to go there and lose. Gargano's got enough momentum and he's well thought of by the fans and the company enough to lose a couple of matches. You've then got Tommaso Ciampa. He's knocking about somewhere. He wasn't on the card this time. And yeah, notable that the NXT tag titles weren't defended on this show as well. But again, really, really good match. Really good. And I say 4.5 cheap shots out of 5. Both these guys are absolute machines when it comes to performing inside that square circle, and the sleeper hit of the night for me. NXT Cruiserweight Championship. This title's got a bit of a renaissance going, having moved from the main show to NXT. It is Isaiah Swerve Scott who has been there or thereabouts ever since that tournament to crown a new champion, because the former champion couldn't defend the championship. He had to go back to Ireland. He is now nowhere to be seen in the company, hence the speaking out movement, and don't think he's coming back anytime soon, although I haven't watched any of the NXT UK shows as of yet. Let's say, been a bit busy. I'm probably going to pick up on some of them very, very soon. Also, it's October, 31 Days of Horror. Check it out on Cheap Shot Entertainment. And he's going against the current champion, Santos Escobar. Again, really good. When the cruiserweights are allowed to be cruiserweights and do all the jumpy and flippy stuff, then I really like that. Love that. Back when in the late 90s, early 2000s, really good period of time for the cruiserweights and the light heavyweight championship. We're getting back to that now. It's on NXT. More like the original tournament to crown the original cruiserweight champion. It's now a case of, the cruiserweights are here and they're actually being allowed to do stuff and they're being allowed to build characters. Now, I don't know if 205 Live is still going. If it is, great, because we've got some really good things going off. I'm guessing they need to build somehow on shows, and they certainly don't get any time on NXT, but the end result is absolutely phenomenal, and I'm giving this one 3.5 cheap shots out of 5 double knees to the back, or also known as a lung blower to the back by Santos Escobar, gives him the win and the retention of said Cruiserweight Championship. NXT Women's Championship is up for grabs next. It is Io Shirai, the current champion, versus Candice LeRae. Now, we have waited a long time for Candice LeRae to even get a chance to pick up this championship, and she has very much earned it. Being in NXT for quite a while, she has earned this title shot, and boy did she deliver. Between her and Io Shirai, I would say this is one of the best women's matches that I've seen for quite some time. Candice LeRae really beating down on Io Shirai as much as she possibly could to capture that championship. Unfortunately, she did come out slightly on the wrong end after a top rope Spanish fly and a moonsault for the victory on Io Shirai. This is after Johnny Gargano got involved, throwing the title to Candice LeRae, having distracted the referee, and Candice LeRae nailing the current champion upside the head with the Women's Championship. Again, Io Shirai coming back, top rope Spanish fly, moonsault, and captures the title, or retains the title rather, and moves on to her next challenge. I'm guessing Candice LeRae will have to go back down a few notches in the championship picture. But again, a really, really good match. I'm going to give this one 4 cheap shots out of 5. An excellent women's match, a masterclass of what you can do given the time and the stage in which to work. NXT Championship up for grabs next. Now, I believe this one's been forced upon NXT, Triple H and William Regal, but I quite like it. They had a tournament to crown the number 1 contender for Finn Balor's NXT Championship. Now, we haven't said NXT Finn Balor for a long time, and certainly hasn't been the champion for a long time since his feud with Samoa Joe and then moving up to the main roster, being the first ever Universal Champion, getting injured and then not really doing much after that on the main roster. He's back in NXT and he is on absolute fire. Now, we have a new challenger in the mix here, because it is Kyle O'Reilly who won said tournament to capture the number 1 contendership, and it's refreshing, it's new, I like it. I love Kyle O'Reilly, I love the Undisputed Era, and putting Kyle O'Reilly in a singles match just really proves what pedigree he actually has. He's been wrestling for 15 years, Finn Balor has been wrestling for 20 years. There is, I'm pretty sure, some crossover there since they both started back in the day, and Kyle O'Reilly really impressive here. It does become a bit of a shoot, and I really like that. And that's why I like Timothy Thatcher, and the Timothy Thatcher matches that I've seen have been absolutely brilliant, because they're almost shoot fights. Lots of feeling out, lots of pulling away of legs and limbs, and just ripping and tearing and just wearing your opponent down. And Kyle O'Reilly is one of the best for that. Obviously, in his stable, you've got a former NXT champion, the longest reigning NXT champion of all time, and of course his tag team partner Bobby Fish, who is a master of Muay Thai. Obviously, he has given Kyle O'Reilly some tips. Now, Kyle O'Reilly would eventually succumb after a fantastic match, and I'm going to give this 5 cheap shots out of 5, the highest cheap shot rating I can possibly give a match, because it was damn near perfect. Unfortunately, both men did appear to be injured, and I believe that has now been confirmed. I don't think it's anything major, but it is sad to think that they've both been injured. Kyle O'Reilly did succumb to the 19 I can't even remember what it's called, but basically the execution is what it is, isn't it? Was it 1915? Something like that, anyway. Finn Balor would win for... so he hasn't actually lost a match. Sorry, I've got an itch on my back. So he hasn't actually lost a match, I don't think, since coming back to NXT, and that's the pedigree of Finn Balor. He's immediately put NXT back up here in the Wednesday Night Wars, and the fact that they are producing such good pay-per-views is nothing short of amazing. I really enjoy NXT. The one thing I'm really annoyed about being in the UK, though, is having a WWE Network subscription. I can't see the NXT The Go Home show for this until the week after, and I still haven't managed to watch it, and I still haven't watched this week's because I've got no time. So yeah, there you go. Finn Balor retains the championship. I think it's 1916, isn't it? Something like that. Retains the championship. Doesn't quite get the... I think he does hit the coup de grace at some point, but the 1916 is what finishes Kyle O'Reilly off in what was an absolute war of a match. Really impressed with Kyle O'Reilly. As the match ends, we see Rich Holland, the Brit from Yorkshire, the ex-rugby player, holding Adam Cole on his shoulder, chucking him over the barrier. He's been beaten up. Does this mean that we're going to get Rich Holland versus Adam Cole? I mean, that's crazy. He was on NXT UK not long ago, and now he's really getting a push in NXT. I'm guessing the hole that has been left by the former NXT champion is a massive one to fill, and with shoulders the size of Rich Holland's, I'm guessing it will be an easier fill than if they put someone else in that picture. But notably, he didn't go after Finn Balor, he went after the Undisputed Era and Adam Cole, baby. So obviously then all the Undisputed Era come down, try and help out Adam Cole, and we cut to black. Finn Balor is your winner. Also of note, 2 more very important announcements here. Tony Storm is coming back to NXT, and the vignettes that we've been seeing with the siphon filter thing going off, Ember Moon is now back on NXT as well, and I think that is an excellent move for her, because she got moved up to the main roster. She got moved up to the main roster way too early, and she's back down in NXT now. So we now have a couple of new challenges for the NXT Women's Championship, a couple of new challenges for the NXT Championship, and it's fresh, it's new, I like it, it's not been done before. I love NXT to the hilt, and anybody who wants to say that AEW is better, AEW's alright. AEW's alright, but NXT is always going to be my bread and butter, because I've been following that since its inception way back when, in 2014, when the network first started. Obviously it was on before that, but ever since then really enjoy NXT. Do like AEW, it brings something different and it is getting better, but NXT is the one for me. This show was absolutely brilliant, and with the announcement that we're going to get Halloween Havoc as well, I am really looking forward to what this rest of this month brings. So thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe and do all the YouTube type stuff. Check out Cheap Shot Reviews or Quick Shot Reviews and Cheap Shot Entertainment System, which is the gaming channel, and the Cheap Quick Shot Reviews is the movie channel as well. Weekly updates on there if you're starved for content from Cheap Shot Entertainment. So the next video that we have uploading is the classic review of No Mercy 2000. Not a very good show, but I'm going to try and make it interesting right here on Cheap Shot Entertainment, and that will come on the 22nd of October, being as that was the day it happened way back in 2000, a full 20 years ago. So, you are the Cheap Shot Nation. I have been your host Luke, and you have been watching my review of NXT Takeover 31. We'll see you at Halloween Havoc. We'll see you at Halloween Havoc. Get my words out, I will get it eventually. It's a good job I didn't slur like this when I was on the radio earlier. We'll see you at Halloween Havoc. Have a good one, stay safe, and we'll see you again very soon. Goodbye.